In the days after the assassination of President Kennedy, the new president, Lyndon Johnson, was in the process of putting together the President's Commission on the Assassination of President Kennedy, also known as the Warren Commission. Here he is on the phone discussing the assembling of this commission. First, with the FBI Director, J. Edgar Hoover.
Telephone conversation between President Johnson and FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover on November 25, 1963 at 10:30 a.m.
Mr. Hoover on 2383. Mr. Hoover, 2383.
383, let me find it. That's number
The fourth.
Two things. Apparently some lawyer in justice is lobbying with the Post because that's where the suggestion came from for this presidential commission, which we think would be very bad, and put it right in the White House. And we can't be checking up on every shooting scrape in the country, but they've gone to the Post now to get them an editorial, and the Post is calling up saying they're going to run an editorial if we don't do things. Now, we're going to do two things, and I want you to know about it. One, we believe that the way to handle this is, as we said yesterday, your suggestion that you put every facility at your command and making a full report to the Attorney General, and then they make it available to the country in whatever form may seem desirable, right, as well as the President. Second, well, the state, it's a state matter too, and the state Attorney General is young and able and prudent and very cooperative with you. Yeah. He's going to run a court of inquiry, which is provided for by state law, and he's going to have associated with him the most outstanding jurist in the country, but he's a good conservative fellow. Yeah. And we don't start invading local jurisdictions that way, and he understands what you're doing, and he's for it. I want you to understand what he was doing, and he's very strong for it. He's going to announce it today. Now, if you get too many cooks messing with the broth, it'd mess it up. And I think that these two are trained organizations. Yes. And the Attorney General of the state holds courts of inquiries every time a law is violated. And the Justice and the FBI makes these investigations. So I want you to know that, and you'll tell your pressman that that's what's happening, and they can expect Wagner Carr, the Attorney General of Texas, to make an announcement this morning. Yeah. Of a state inquiry, and that you can offer him your full cooperation, and vice versa. He'll do it with you. Right. We'll both work together. And any influence you got with the Post, have them point out to them that you don't want too many things, and that just picking out a Tom Dewey lawyer from New York and sending him down on new facts, this commission thing, Mr. Herbert Hoover tried that, and sometimes a commission that's not trained hurts more than it helps.
It's a regular circus then.
That's right.
Because it'll be covered by TV and everything.
Just like an investigating committee.
Exactly. I don't have much influence with the Post because I frankly don't read it.
I know that.
I do it like the Daily Worker.
You told me that once before.
But
I just want your people to know the facts, and your people can say that, and that kind of negates it, you see.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll take care of that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes.
J. Edgar Hoover on 2192.
Are you familiar with this proposed group that they're trying to put together on this study of your report and other things? Two from the House, two from the Senate, somebody in the court, a couple outsiders.
No, I haven't heard of that. I've seen the reports on the Senate investigating committee that they've been talking about.
Yeah, well, we think if we don't have, I want to get by just with your filing your report.
I think it'd be very, very bad to have a rash of investigations.
Well, the only way we can stop them is probably to appoint a high-level one to evaluate your report.
Yeah.
And put somebody that's pretty good on it from that I can select out of the government and tell the House and Senate not to go ahead with the investigation.
Yes.
Because we get up there and get a bunch of television going, and I thought it'd be bad.
It'd be a three-ring circus.
Yes. What do you think about Alec Dulles?
I think he would be a good man.
What do you think about John McCloy?
I'm not as enthusiastic about McCloy. I knew him back in the Patterson, when Patterson's down here, secretary thing. He's a good man, but I'm not so certain as to the matter of the publicity that he might seek on it.
What about General Northcutt?
Good man.
I guess Boggs has started in the House. I thought maybe we might try to get Boggs and Jerry Ford in the House, maybe try to get Dick Russell and maybe Cooper in the Senate.
Yes, I think so.
I don't know. You know anything? Any reason? Just talking to me and you going to talk like brothers.
Yes.
No other reason. Any reason? Any there? I thought Russell could kind of look after the general situation and see that the states and their relations.
Russell would be an excellent man.
I thought Cooper might look after the liberal group.
Who's that?
Cooper, Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, Cooper.
So they wouldn't think that he's a pretty judicious fellow,
Yeah.
but he's a pretty liberal fellow.
Yes.
I wouldn't want Javits or some of those fellows on it.
Javits plays the front page.
Cooper's kind of border state.
Yes.
It's not the south. It's not the north.
That's right.
Do you know Ford from Michigan?
I know of him, but I don't know him. I saw him on TV the other night for the first time. He handled himself well on that.
You know Boggs?
Yes, I know Bob.
He's kind of off in the resolution.
Yes, I know him.
Now, Walter tells me, Walter Jenkins, that you've designated Deke to work with us like you did on the Hill.
I have, yes.
I tell you, I sure appreciate that. I didn't ask for it because I knew you knew how to run your business better than anybody else. And I just want to tell you, though, that we consider him as high class as you do, and it's a mighty gracious thing to do, and we'd be mighty happy. And we salute you for knowing how to pick good men.
Well, that's mighty nice of you, President, indeed. We hope to have this thing wrapped up today, but we probably won't get it before the first of the week. This angle in Mexico is giving us a great deal of trouble because the stories there of this man, Oswald, getting $6,500 from the Cuban embassy and then coming back to this country with it. We're not able to prove that fact. The information was that he was there on the 18th of September in Mexico City, and we are able to prove conclusively he was in New Orleans that day. Now then they changed the date. The story came in changing the date to the 28th of September, and he was in Mexico City on the 28th. Now the Mexican police have again arrested this woman, Duran, who's a member of the Cuban embassy, and we'll hold her for 2 or 3 more days. And we're going to confront her with the original informant who saw the money pass, so he says, and we're also going to put the lie detector test on it. Meantime, of course, Castro's hollering his head off.
Can you pay attention to those lie detector tests?
I would not pay 100% attention to them. All that they are is a psychological asset in an investigation. I wouldn't want to be a part to sending a man to the chair on a lie detector. For instance, we have found many cases where we've used them and in a bank where there's been embezzlement, and a person will confess before the lie detector test is finished, more or less fearful of the fact that the lie detector test will show them guilty. Psychologically, there's that advantage, because it's a misnomer to call it a lie detector, because what it really is, it's the evaluation of the chart that is made by this machine, and that evaluation is made by a human being, and any human being can be apt to make a wrong interpretation. So I would not myself go on that alone. If, on the other hand, if this fellow Oswald had lived and had taken the lie detector test, and it had shown definitely that he had done these various things, together with the evidence that we very definitely have, it would have just added that much more strength to it. There's no question but that he is the man. Now, the fingerprints and things that we have. This fellow Rubenstein down there, he has offered to take the lie detector test, but his lawyer's got to be consulted first, and I doubt whether the lawyer will allow him. He's one of these criminal lawyers from the West Coast, and somewhat like a Edward Bennett Williams type, and almost as much of a shyster.
Have you got any relationship between the two yet?
Between Rubenstein?
Yeah.
No, at the present time we have not. There was a story down there that...
Was he ever in his bar and stuff like that?
There was a story that this fellow had been in this nightclub, that is this strip-tease joint that he has, but that has not been able to be confirmed. Now, this fellow Rubenstein is a very shady character, has a bad record, street brawler, fighter, that sort of thing. And in the place in Dallas, if a fellow came in there and couldn't pay his bill completely, Rubenstein would beat the very devil out of him and throw him out of the place. He was that kind of a fella. He didn't drink, didn't smoke, boasted about that. He's what I would put in the category, one of these egomaniacs. He likes to be in the limelight. He knew all the police in that white light district where the joints are in there. And he also let them come in, see the show, get food, and get liquor, and so forth. That's how I think he got into police headquarters, because they accepted him as kind of a police character hanging around police headquarters. And for that reason raised no question. Of course, they never made any moves as the pictures show, even when they saw him approaching this fella, and got up right to him and pressed his pistol against Oswald's stomach. Neither of the police officers on either side made any move to push him away or to grab him. It wasn't until after the gun was fired that they then moved. Now, of course, that is not the highest degree of efficiency, so to say. Secondly, the chief of police admits that he moved him in the morning as a convenience and at the request of the motion picture people who wanted to have daylight. He should have moved him at night, but he didn't. And, those derelictions in that phase. But so far as tying Rubenstein and Oswald together, we haven't as yet done so. There have been a number of stories come in. We've tied Oswald into the Civil Liberties Union in New York, membership into that, and, of course, into this this Cuban Fair Play Committee, which was pro-Castro and dominated by communism and financed to some extent by the Castro government.
How many shots were fired?
Three.
Any of them fired at me?
No, there was
all three at the president.
All three at the president, and we have them. Two of the shots fired at the president were splintered, but they had characteristics on them so that our ballistic expert was able to prove that they were fired by this gun. The third shot, which hit the president, he was hit by the first and the third. The second shot hit the governor. The third shot is a complete bullet that wasn't shattered, and that rolled out of the president's head. It tore a large part of the president's head off. And in trying to massage his heart at the hospital, on the way to the hospital, they apparently loosened that, and that fell onto the stretcher. And we recovered that. And we have that. And we have the gun here also.
Were they aiming at the president?
They were aiming directly at the president. There's no question about that. This telescopic lens, which I've looked through, it brings a person as close to you as if they were sitting right beside you. And we also have tested the fact that you could fire, those three shots were fired within 3 seconds. There's been some stories going around in the papers and so forth that must have been more than one man, but because no one man could fire those shots from the time that they were fired. We've just proved that by the actual test that we've made.
How did it happen? They hit Connolly.
Connolly turned to the president when the first shot was fired, and I think in that turning it was where he got hit.
If he hadn't turned, he probably wouldn't have got hit.
I think that's very likely.
When the president got hit second?
No, the president wasn't hit with the second one.
I say if Connolly hadn't been in his way.
Oh yes. The president no doubt would have been hit.
He's been hit 3 times.
He's been hit 3 times. On the 5th floor of that building where we found the gun and the wrapping paper in which the gun was wrapped, had been wrapped, and upon which we find the full fingerprints of this man Oswald. On that floor we found the 3 empty shells that had been fired and 1 shell that had not been fired. In other words, there were 4 shells apparently, and he had fired 3 but didn't fire the 4th one. He then threw the gun aside and came down, and at the entrance of the building he was stopped by a police officer, and some manager in the building told the police officer, well, he's all right, he works for you, you needn't hold him. So they let him go. That's how he got out. And then he got on a bus. The bus driver has identified him and went out to his home and got hold of a jacket that he wanted for some purpose and came back downtown, walking downtown, and the police officer who was killed stopped him, not knowing who he was and not knowing whether he was the man, but they were just on suspicion, and he fired, of course, and killed the police officer. Then he walked
You can prove that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, we can prove that. Then he walked about another 2 blocks and went to the theater. And the woman at the theater window selling the tickets, she was so suspicious of the way he was acting. And she said he was carrying a gun. He had a revolver at that time, with which he had killed the police officer. He went into the theater, and then she notified the police, and the police and our man down there went in there and located this particular man. We had quite a struggle with him. He fought like a regular lion, and he had to be subdued, of course, and was then brought out, of course, taken to the police headquarters. But he apparently had come down the 5 flights of steps stairway from the 5th floor. So far as we found out, the elevator was not used, although he could have used it, but nobody remembers whether it was or whether it wasn't.
Well, your conclusion is maybe he's the one that did it. B, the man he's after was the president. C, he would have hit him 3 times except the government turned.
I think that's correct.
4, that there's no connection between he and Ruby that you can detect now. And 5, whether he was connected with the Cuban operation with money you were trying to...
That's what we're trying to nail down now. Because he was strongly pro-Castro, he was strongly anti-American, and he had been in correspondence, which we have, with the Soviet embassy here in Washington, and with the American Civil Liberties Union, and with this committee for fair play to Cuba. We have copies of the correspondence. So we've got him nailed down in his contact with them. None of those letters, however, dealt with any indication of violence or contemplated assassination. They were dealing with the matter of a visa for his wife to go back to Russia. Now, there's one angle of this thing that I'm hopeful to get some word on today. This woman, his wife, has been very hostile. She would not cooperate. She speaks Russian and Russian only. She did say to us yesterday down there that if we could give her assurance that she would be allowed to remain in this country, she might cooperate. I told our agents down there to give her that assurance, that she could stay in this country, and I sent a Russian-speaking agent into Dallas last night to interview her, so that we've got her now, and whether she knows anything or talks anything, I of course don't know and won't know.
Where did he work in the building? On the same floor?
He had access on all floors.
But where was his office?
Well, he didn't have any particular office. He would orders came in for certain books, and some books would be on the 1st floor, 2nd floor, 3rd floor, and so forth.
But he didn't have any particular place he was stationed?
No, he had no particular place that he was stationed at all. He was just a general packer of the requisitions that came in for school books from the Dallas schools there. And therefore he had access, perfectly proper access, to the 5th floor and to the 6th floor. Usually most of the employees were down on lower floors.
Did anybody see him on the 5th floor?
Yes, he was seen on the 5th floor by one of the workmen there before the assassination took place. He was seen there. So that we got.
Did you get a picture of him shooting?
No. There was no picture taken of him shooting.
What was this picture that fellow sold for $25,000?
That was a picture taken of the parade and showing Mrs. Kennedy climbing out of the back seat. You see, there was no Secret Service man standing on the back of the car. Usually the presidential car in the past has had steps on the back next to the bumpers, and there have usually been one on either side standing on those steps at the back bumper. Whether the president asked that that not be done, we don't know. And the bubble top was not up, but the bubble top wasn't worth a damn anyway because it made entirely of plastic. And much to my surprise, the Secret Service do not have any armored cars.
Do you have a bulletproof car?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes,
I think I ought to have one.
I think you most certainly should have one. Most certainly should. Because I have one here. We have one in New York. We use it for different purposes. I use it here for myself. And if we have any raids to make or have to surround a place where anybody's hidden in, we use the bulletproof car on that. Because you can bulletproof the entire car, including the glass. But it means that the top has to remain up. You can never let the top down. It's a regular limousine type. And looks exactly like any other car, but I do think you ought to have a bulletproof car. And but I was surprised the other day when I made inquiry. All that I understand the Secret Service has had 2 cars with metal plates underneath the car to take care of a hand grenade or a bomb that might be thrown out and roll along the street. Well, of course, we don't do those things in this country. In Europe, that's the way they assassinate the heads of state with bombs. They've been after General de Gaulle, you know, with that sort of thing. But in this country, all of our assassinations have been with guns. And for that reason, I think very definitely I was very much surprised when I learned that this bubble top thing was not bulletproof in any respect, and that the plastic top to it was down. Well, the president had insisted upon that so that he could stand up and wave to the... it seems to me that the president ought to always be in a bulletproof car. It certainly would prevent anything like this ever happening again. It doesn't mean you could have 1,000 Secret Service men on guard and still a sniper can snipe you from up in the window if you are exposed, like the president was. But he can't do it if you have a solid top, bulletproof top to it, as it should be.
You mean I ride around my ranch? I ought to be in a bulletproof car?
Well, I would certainly think so, Mr. President. It seems to me that car down at your ranch there, the little car that we rode around in when I was down there, I think that ought to be bulletproof. I think it ought to be done very quietly. There's a concern that is out, I think, in Cincinnati, where we have our cars bulletproof. I think we've got 4. We've got one on the West Coast, one in New York, and one here. And I think it can be done quietly without any publicity being given to it or any pictures being taken of it if it's handled properly. But I think you ought to have, because on that ranch there, it's perfectly easy for somebody to get onto the ranch.
I think those entrances all ought to be guarded, though, don't you?
Oh, I think by all means. I think you've got to recognize, you've got to really almost be in the capacity of a so-called prisoner. Because without that security, anything can be done. Now, we've got a lot of letters and phone calls over the last 3 or 4 or 5 days. We got one about this parade the other day, that they were going to try to kill you then. And I talked with the Attorney General about it. I was very much opposed to that marching from the White House.
Well, we Secret Services told them not to, but the family felt otherwise.
Well, that's what Bobby told me, because when I heard of it, I talked with the Secret Service, and they were very much opposed to it. I was very much opposed to it, because it was even worse than down there in Dallas. You were walking down the center of the street.
That's right.
And somebody on the sidewalk would dash out. I noticed even on Pennsylvania Avenue here, I've used the procession coming back from the Capitol, and while they had police signs along the curbstone, looking at the crowd, when the parade came along, the police turned around and looked at the parade, which was the worst thing to do. They also had a line of soldiers, but they were looking at the parade.
Well, I'm going to take every precaution I can, and I want to talk to you, and I wish you'd put down your thoughts on that a little bit, because you're more than the head of the Federal Bureau as far as I'm concerned. You're my brother and personal friend, and you have been for 25, 30 years. You have been for 30 years. I know. Well, you just been having your fun.
Absolutely not.
So you just, I got more confidence. Absolutely not. Well, I got more confidence in your judgment than anybody in town. So you just put down some of your judgment than anybody. And you just put down some of the things you think ought to happen. And I won't involve you, court you, get you in jurisdictional disputes or anything. But I'd like to at least advocate them as my opinion.
I'll be very glad to, indeed. I certainly appreciate your confidence.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Fine.
Next, President Johnson talks to Senator Everett Dirksen.
Telephone conversation between President Johnson and Senator Everett Dirksen on November 29, 1963 at 11:40 a.m.
Everett, two things. These investigations in the House and Senate on this Dallas affair. Hoover's a little concerned about reflecting on him. He's making a very full report on it. The Attorney General's getting an inquiry, state inquiry. He's a very young and able and effective man. And we don't want to... We've got some international complications that could come up to us if if we not very careful.
Yeah.
So we've been trying to figure out how we could best handle this thing, and it seems to us we might ask a member of the court, might even ask Alan Dulles, might ask a couple of members of the House, a couple of the Senate, and wrap up the three divisions of government so we'd have a very high caliber, top flight, blue ribbon group that the whole world would have absolute confidence in.
Yeah.
I've talked to Mansfield and to the Speaker, and that appeals to them. I think that appeals to Hoover. I think it appeals to the Justice Department and the Secretary of State. I wanted to see what reaction you had.
See, this started when Eastland came over to my office the other afternoon.
Yeah.
And he wanted to get this.
Incidentally, I've talked to him too, and he said
Did you talk to him?
Yeah, he said it's agreeable to him.
Okay.
He's got a states' rights problem there. If he goes to sending investigations down into Texas, they may be going into Jackson, you know.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
Yeah, I undertook this only because Jim initiated
Yeah.
it. I talked to McClellan and
I
Sam
talked to
Irwin and others.
I indicated to Dick Russell too, and he kind of thought it would be bad for just the Senate committee and the House
Yeah.
committee and all of them be running over the lot. So if it's all
Much
right,
better
with you,
if it can be buttoned up in.
we have a request from the Attorney General that in view of the heavy mail that Ms. Kennedy will get, that the ordinary $10,000 that the President's wife gets for the purpose of answering mail
Yeah.
be increased to $50 for the first year.
Yeah.
Mike says he co-sponsor that if you go along with it.
I will.
And that'll be fine.
Okay.
Now, let me see. I want to talk to you and Charlie in the next day or two about how in the world we're going to get some little action between now and the time we go home. If we don't, why, we're going to get a bad press.
Yeah.
We just, the people, we've got to get our appropriations out, but we ought to make some progress. Now, Harry Bird's very interested in seeing what this budget be before he reports his tax bill out. I've talked to Eisenhower and Bob Anderson and them in some detail about that.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about it. I've already doing everything that I humanly can to keep that within bounds, and I'll be in a position to give you some estimates. But I hope you all be in a position to close those hearings when you tentatively planned to close them, whenever it was. When was it? 6th?
Well, originally it was the 17th, but we pushed it back to the 6th or 7th.
6th, I think.
Yeah.
Then maybe you could get your report written and get it on the calendar as a minimum, because
Yeah.
Everett, what do I think about? We can't. We can pass the tax bill in a week, although it's complicated when it just took 5 days last year with all the difficulties. But after we get it out, but civil rights is going to take so damn much longer time, and they got the McGregor, Burnses, and the rest of them writing about the Congress, and whatever else we say, we do have a good many more appropriation bills up there in December than we've had before.
Yeah.
And there is some merit to some of the things they're saying. My life's the hill, as I said the other day, but I do think that if we could, we ought to show some evidences of progress. And you'd be thinking about how you can help us get that tax bill out. I don't want to rush them, don't want to change the procedures, as I indicated in my message. I don't want to try to blast anybody out of anything, but if you're going to finish at 6th anyway, why, let's just work some people a few nights up there writing this report and get it out there on the calendar, and it'd be a wonderful thing if we pass that. Every businessman I've talked to since I've been in here, from the tops on down, Bob Anderson says every one of them are waiting to see whether they're really going to pass one. If they are, why, it's going to mean a lot to them. And that market went up the other day because they thought that we were going to be stable with business, because they think we're going to be frugal. But you got to help me, my friend.
Well, I'll be back there Monday,
Okay.
and I'll talk to Harry.
And you give some thought to it now. Let's try to get that tax bill out. House passed it, and we've been on it 1 year, 11 months. And if Congress is to function at all and can't pass the tax bill between January and January, well, we're in a hell of a shape.
Yeah.
And you know that they've had enough hearings on that thing. If they finish on the 6th, they ought to write a report in a week, and you ought to pass it in a week.
Yeah. But
Then they'd all know it's effective January the 1st, and every businessman in this country would have some confidence, and you'd probably pick up a bunch of Senate seats because you're running the Senate like I ran it you're being pretty patriotic, and you cooperate.
Yeah, the markup is going to take a little time, I think.
The what?
The markup.
Well,
There's going to be a good many.
they can do that in a week. They marked up the other one in 5 days. A hell of a lot more complicated, Treasury tells me. If they can do the other one in 5 days, give them 7 on this one. So that'd be the 13th, and you could have the damn thing passed by. We don't need to go home till Christmas Eve, 22nd,
Yeah.
and you'd have 10 days to pass it. Now, Albert Gore's got a deal there. He wants to do this and that, but we could table those amendments here, and we've got an obligation to the Congress, and we've just got to show that they can do something, because we can't pass civil rights. We know that.
Well, let me talk to Harry and John Whittington when I get back on that.
All right. All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Here, President Johnson is on the phone with Senator Richard Russell of Georgia.
Hello.
Mr. Russell, 2191.
Dick? Yes? I hate to bother you again, but I wanted you to know that I made that announcement.
Well, announcement what?
Of this special commission.
You have already?
Yes. And I got Chief here. May I read it to you?
Yes.
The President announced that he is appointing a special commission to study and report upon all the facts and circumstances relating to the assassination of the late President John F. Kennedy and the subsequent violent death of the man charged with the assassination. The President stated that the majority and minority leadership of the Senate and the House had been consulted with respect to the proposed special commission. The members of the special commission are: Chief Justice Earl Warren, Chairman; Senator Richard Russell, Georgia; Senator John Cooper, Kentucky; Representative Hale Boggs, Louisiana; Representative Gerald Ford, Michigan; Honorable Allen Dulles, Washington; Honorable John J. McCloy, New York. The President stated the Special Commission is to be instructed to evaluate all available information concerning the subject of the inquiry. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, pursuant to an earlier directive of the President, is making complete investigation of the facts. An inquiry is scheduled by a Texas Court of Inquiry convened by the Attorney General of Texas under Texas law. The Special Commission will have before it all evidence uncovered by the Federal Bureau of Investigation and all information available in the agencies of the federal government. The Attorney General of Texas has also offered his cooperation. All federal agencies and offices are being directed to furnish services in cooperation to the Special Commission. The Commission will also be empowered to conduct any further investigation that is deemed desirable. The President is instructing the Special Commission to satisfy itself that the truth is known as far as it can be discovered, and to report its findings and conclusions to him, to the American people, and to the world.
Well, now, Mr. President, I know I don't have to tell you my devotion to you, but I just can't serve on that commission. I'm highly honored you think about this connection with it, but I couldn't serve there with the Chief Justice Warren. I don't like that man. I don't have any confidence in him, so I realize he's a much greater man in the United States today than almost anyone. So you get John finished. He's Dick has already been announced, and you can serve with anybody for the good of America. And this is a question that has a good many more ramifications than on the surface. And we got to take this out of the arena where they're testifying that Khrushchev and Castro did this and did that, and kicking us into a war that can kill 40 million Americans in an hour. And you'd put on your uniform in a minute. Now, the reason I ask Warren is because he's the Chief Justice of this country, and we've got to have the highest judicial people we can have. The reason I ask you is because you have that same kind of temperament, and you can do anything for your country. And don't go to give me that kind of stuff about
You can't serve with anybody. You can do anything.
It's not only that. I don't think the Chief Justice should have served on it.
Well, Chief Justice ought to do anything he can to save America. And right now, we've got a very touchy thing. And you wait till you look at this evidence. You wait till you look at this report. Now, don't I'm not going to lead you wrong, and you're not going to be an old dog trade. You're not going to be an old dog trade company, but you never turned your country down. Well, this is not me. This is your country, and the members of the Special Commission are Chief Justice Warren, Senator Richard Russell, and I go right down the list. Now I've got Allen Dulles, John McCloy. But you're my man on that commission, and you're going to do it. And don't tell me what you can do and what you can't, because I can't arrest you, and I'm not going to put the FBI on you, but you're damn sure going to serve, I'll tell you that. And A.W. Morrison's here, and he wants to tell you that how much all of us love you. Wait a minute.
Well, I know, Mr. President, you all told me you was going to name
I told you today I was going to name him as Chief Justice when I called you. I did.
Talking about getting somebody on the Supreme Court.
That's right.
Now, you didn't tell me you'd go and name
I told you I was going to name Warren. You said it'd be better to name Harlan.
Oh, no. We talked, and I said Clark wouldn't do cause...
No, that's right. That's right. And I've got to get the highest justice I can get. He turned Bobby Kennedy down. They talked to him, and he just said he wouldn't serve under any circumstances. I called him down there, and I spent an hour with him. And I begged him as much as I'm begging you. I just said, now, here's the situation. I won't tell you what, Mr.
You have to beg me. You've always told me.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Mr. President, please.
No, it's already done. It's been announced, hell.
You mean you've given me...
Yes, sir. I mean, I gave it. I gave the announcement. It's already in the papers, and you own it, and you're going to be my man on it. And you just forget that. Now, wait a minute. A.W. wants to say a word to you, and I'll be back. Hello, Senator?
Yeah.
Oh, we're just sitting here talking. He said, I got one man on there. They're smart and all the rest of them put together. I ain't buttering you up, Senator.
You know just like I do.
What?
Not putting me on this.
Well, goddamn it, you know I'm not that kind of feller. And I just heard that. I want you to know that. Because, hell, he depends on you. You know that. And he just got through saying, he said, I got one man on there that's smart and all the rest of them put together. Yeah. That's the truth. You know it. You know I know it, Senator.
Well, A.W., I don't know when I've been as unhappy about the things I am this.
Well, I know, but you can take them, God Almighty, you took them for years, and the hard ones and the tough ones, and you take care of it, and you take care of yourself. Well, you come steer it.
Well,
but you don't say you can't do anything, because you're the best can-do man there is.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Dick?
Yeah.
Now, we're going into a lot of problems. I saw, we had lunch together, and I saw Sanders, and I've seen a good many people since then. I saw Wilkins today, had a long talk with him. Now, these things are going to be developing. And I know you're gonna have your reservations and your modesty, and you're gonna have wait a minute. I understand that, but now your president's asking you to do these things, and there's some things that I want you in besides civil rights. And by God, you're going to be in them, because I can't run this country by myself. And
well, my future's behind me, and that's not entering into it at all.
Well, your future is your country, and you're going to do everything you can to serve America.
I can't do it. I haven't got the time.
All right. We'll just make the time.
All my Georgia items in there.
Well, we'll just make the time. There's not going to be any time to begin with. All you're going to do is evaluate a Hoover report he's already made. But
we'll move that fast, aren't we?
Well, okay. Well, then we won't move any faster than you want to move. But you're gonna lend your name to this thing, because you're head of the CIA committee in the Senate, and you're gonna have Fulbright and Hickenlooper on it, because this thing is breaking faster than you think. And I've already talked to Hickenlooper and Fulbright and asked them to go with you, sit on your committee, because I don't want these things torn up. The Secretary of State came over here this afternoon. He's deeply concerned, Dick, about the idea that they're spreading throughout the communist world that Khrushchev killed Kennedy. Now, he didn't. He didn't have a damn thing to do with it.
I don't think he did directly.
Well,
Khrushchev didn't, because he thought he'd get along better with Kennedy.
all right. But we got to have some people.
I wouldn't be surprised if Castro had.
All right, then okay. That's what we want to know. And people got confidence in you, and you can just be surprised or not surprised. They want to know what you think. And if my A.W. Morrison, the one, wants to know what you think, and you.
I'm taking advantage of that, Mr. President, but
No.
of course I keep turning.
No, you're not. I'm.
President,
No.
of course I keep turning.
No.
Taking advantage of you.
I'm going to tell you what you, my friend.
I'm not going to say any more, Mr. President.
What do you want?
I'm at your command, and
All
I'm
right.
ready to take
Well, you damn sure going to be at my command?
involved.
You're going to be at my command as long as I'm here.
You'll be just a little bit more deliberate and considerate next time about it. But this time, of course, if you've done this, I'm going to do it and go through with it and say I think it's one for life.
Well, I'm not going to be any more deliberate than I've been about this, because I've been pretty deliberate. But I'm going to have you on a good goddamn many things that I have to decide, and you're going to be America's representative. And I don't want any special obligation. I just know you're going to call them as you see them. And I served under you, and I don't give a damn if you have to serve with a Republican, if you have to serve with a communist, if you have to serve with a Negro, if you have to serve with a thug, if you have to serve with A.W. Morrison.
Communist, and I can serve with a Negro, I can serve with a Chinaman.
Well, you may have to serve with A.W. Morrison, eh?
And if I could serve with A.W. Morrison, I would say, Mr. Chairman, I am pleased to serve under you, Judge Morrison. But, well, we won't discuss it.
No.
Mr. President, I'll say it.
Okay, Dick. Give Bobby my love and tell him he better get ready to give up that fruitful law practice he's got.
Let's go to Fields, Georgia now.
Oh, God Almighty.
See, I got him on there. He's making as much money as I am.
Well,
His salary is exactly.
what about Vanderbilt?
Well, he's running for governor next time and will be elected.
Hmm. Well, who the hell's going to help me besides you?
Well, those boys will help you if you need them.
Well, I need them.
Damn it, they're harder for you at one time than I was. Don't you remember?
No, I never did. Nobody ever been more to me than you have, Dick, except my mother. No, that's true. I bothered you more and made you spend more hours with me, tell me what is right and wrong than anybody except my mother.
You do more things you didn't want to do than anybody.
No, I never made you doing things wrong. I never made you doing things wrong. I never made nothing wrong.
I didn't say wrong. I said things I didn't want to do.
Well,
Bobby and Ernie are two of the most loyal friends you've got on earth.
I know that.
They both called me up and said, you just got to do whatever the Johnson said.
No, I don't want you to do that. I just want to counsel with you. I just want to counsel with you, and I just want your judgment and your wisdom. And 40 million Americans involved here.
I may be wholly wrong, but I think Mr. Warren would serve on anything and give him any publicity. Unfortunately.
Well, you want me to tell you the truth? You know what happened? Bobby and them went up to see him today, and he turned them down cold and said no.
Yeah.
2 hours later, I called him and ordered him down here, and he didn't want to come. I insisted he come. He came down here, and he told me no twice. Then I just pulled out what Hoover told me about a little incident in Mexico City, and I said, now, I don't want Mr. Khrushchev to be told tomorrow and be testifying before camera that he killed this fella and that Castro killed him. And all I want you to do is look at the facts and bring any other fact in here and determine who killed the president. And I think you put on your uniform, World War I, fat as you are, and do anything you could to save one American life. And I'm surprised that you, the Chief Justice of the United States, would turn me down. And he started crying. He said, well, I won't turn you down. I'll just do whatever you say. But he turned the Attorney General down.
Well, you ought not be so persuasive.
Well, I think I ought to.
I think you did wrong getting Warren. I know damn well you got wrong getting me, but
No.
you both do the best you can.
I think that's what you do. That's kind of American, both of you are. Good night.
Good night.
Telephone conversation between President Johnson and Congressman Les Ahrens on November 29, 1963 at 6:15 p.m.
Please do, and I've just waited. Most of these boys are going to be leaving here not later than 6:30, and I've tried to get in over an hour.
Yeah. Do you want to put this? You want to make this release tonight?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to make an announcement tonight. It's just a question. I'd just like to be able to say that I had consulted with the leadership. It's a presidential commission, you see, and I don't. I just want to. I want to work with my friends.
That's right. That's why I called you back, Mr. President.
What I want to do is I want to try to get someone that's pretty familiar with the defense picture and the foreign relations picture, and also the CIA picture. You see, the Hoover picture. And that's why I'm trying to get a man that handle the kind of high up on military over in the House, but Russell on armed services in the Senate.
Well, I tell you, the reason
Cooper's a former ambassador to India, you see, and McCloy is a former ambassador. Dulles is former CIA, and I don't know. I have no particular reason for interest in the Republicans, but the hell of it is you can't clear these things. You can't even talk to them. You can't get them. Mike Mansfield's in Florida, and Dirkson's in Illinois, and
well, let me see if I can get it. But in the meantime, I didn't want to be put in a position where I put an okay on something and then find out that Charlie was jumping or something.
Well, I am no. What I was just gonna, what I was going to do, I was going to try to get him for another 15 minutes, and then have to decide what to do about it because you.
Likewise, I'll work on it too. I'll try to call you back within.
Fine. Just tell him what we'd like to do is have men with the military background, the CIA background, the appropriation background. See, we're doing a good deal in this field, Les. That I think you are on the committee, aren't you? You're on the subcommittee there. And so we're trying to spread it out, and we're getting a chairman of armed services, one group, you see, and we're trying to go to appropriations with the other that handles appropriations, and we're trying to go to somebody that has a good deal of foreign service, like John Cooper, ambassador. And Dulles, you see, the CIA, and Hale's been talking about this thing, and he talked a little too much today.
you know, members of Congress.
Well, that's the trouble. They all talk, you know, and you tell them. He called down here and said this fellow's talking. I said, well, I'm trying to work out things like that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you're doing the right thing on this.
But if I talk to them, they talk to the press. So you try to get back to them in 15 minutes.
As quick as I can.
Bye.
President Johnson on the phone with future President Gerald Ford of Michigan.
Telephone conversation between President Johnson and Congressman Gerald Ford on November 29, 1963 at 6:52 p.m.
Congressman Ford, 2191.
Mr. President, how are you, sir?
Happy Thanksgiving. Where are you?
I'm home, sir.
You mean Michigan?
No, I'm here in
Washington. Well, thank God I have somebody in town. I was getting ready to tell McGregor Burns he was right about the Congress. They couldn't function.
I thought your speech was excellent the other
Well,
day.
thank you, Jerry. Jerry, I got something I want you to do for me.
Well, we'll do the best we can, sir.
I've got to have a top blue ribbon presidential commission to investigate this assassination. I'm going to ask the Chief Justice to head it, and then I'm going to ask John McCloy and Allen Dulles.
Right.
And I want it nonpartisan. I'm not going to point out I got 5 Republicans, 2 Democrats, but I'm going to do that, and I'm just, then you forget what party you belong to and just serve as an American. And I want Dick Russell and Sherman Cooper, John Cooper in the Senate, Dick's on armed services over there, and I want somebody on appropriation to know CIA over in your shop from appropriation angle, because I'm covering the armed services angle with Russell. I want to ask Hale Boggs and you to serve in the House,
Well,
So it'll be McCloy and Dulles and Ford and Boggs and Cooper and Russell and Chief Justice Warren as chairman.
well, you know very well I would be honored to do it, and I'll do the very best I can, sir.
You do that and keep me up to date, and I'll be seeing him.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm delighted to help out.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.